Julio finally gets going, and so does the rest of the offense. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show, where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are here to talk about a Mariners win over the Washington Nationals, a game in which Julio got hot, and he's been hot now over the last couple of days. Again, just a really busy weekend. I guess it's the holiday weekend, so I've missed a couple games again. But Julio hit a home run the other day, and unfortunately, we still ended up losing that game because that was the only run we could get. But then in yesterday's game, because I'm recording this a day later, Julio hit another home run, and he had multiple hits, in fact, and had 4 RBIs. And, well, guess how many runs the Mariners won by? 4. So, again, this team is going to go as Julio goes. And if he gets going here, that could be, some big news, and it means some big time things for our Seattle Mariners. If we look at how things played out through yesterday's game, Brian Wu came in and did excellent again. Went 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 3 earned runs, and one of those came off of a home run. Now he was looking good all game. Then came out for the 7th inning. Would have been big if he could have got through that, but he started to get touched up through that inning. So they brought Stanek in with a couple of runners already on base. They get a home run off of Stanek, and at that point, the Nationals had taken the lead 4-5. But again, as I said, Julio finally is hopefully heating up. He was 3 for 5 yesterday, and then it was clutch right after the Nationals took the lead. Julio was able to come in the very next inning, get another RBI and make sure that we didn't just go down easily. Sometimes that's what it feels like when we're watching this Mariners team, right? Is you get a lead, especially if you score runs first. If you're like, okay, we scored 3 or 4 runs first, that's great. Then the other team takes the lead, you go, oh well, our team already did the scoring for the day, so I guess we're probably gonna lose. That's how it's felt like a lot, right? But no, Julio made sure to come in the very next inning, make sure that that wasn't the case, and then the rest of the team was getting hits too. Let's see, France had a home run; he was 2 for 5. It was just nice that there was multiple hits in an inning. I can't remember what the number was, but it was some insane amount of innings where we had gone with no more than a single hit in an inning. And again, the last 3 games, before this one, we had only scored 2 runs, and they were both off of solo home runs. So it wasn't like, oh, you're stringing hits together, you're driving runners in. It's like, oh well, if you get a solo home run, that's the only way you're going to score, because nobody else is going to get a hit that inning. Because we're only going to get, if we get a hit, we're only going to get 1 in an inning. It was pretty bleak there for the last few games. But again, Julio got it going, home run, multiple RBIs, again 4 total. France had that home run; he had 3 total. Just those 2 alone could have won you this game. But it was nice to see some other players get some hits as well. Yeah, I don't know. to me, really, the thing I just mainly want to talk about is Julio. You know, is and I want to know, what do you think? Is this Julio finally heating up? Home runs in 2 games in a row. We see, we've seen what Julio can do when he gets hot. I mean, we've also seen what he is when he's cold, and this season in particular, he was really cold for a really long time. We know that he usually starts slow, but my goodness, we're over 50 games in. He's now in the last 2 games doubled his home run total. He was at 51 games. He was like sitting at only 2 home runs, and now over the last 2 games, he's got his total up to 4. But again, we've seen him when he's hot do things that no other player in Major League Baseball history has done. So if he can get going, if he can get hot, then this team can really start to put some things together. I mean, we're 28 and 26 right now. That's still, first place in our division. And, I'm just thinking, again, if we can start pulling away from the rest of our division, that is just going to hopefully, improve our chances to, make some moves before the trade deadline. Because again, we're still 3 games ahead of the Rangers, 3.5 games ahead of the Astros, who are continuing to lose. So, we got to get going. And now we just ended a super tough road trip, right? Everybody was worried about this road trip that we just finished, and looking at how tough that road trip was, and the record that you have coming out of it, I don't think you're too upset, right? I mean, you won 1 against the Orioles, you got 2 against the Yankees, and you only get 1 against the Nationals. So, 4 out of the 10. That's not a bad road trip, especially you're considering, you went up against 2 of the teams with the best record in baseball right now, and playing like it as well. I mean, pitching and batting wise. So now you get to come home. You're going up. You got a few games, a few series of games against your division rivals, where you can, not only are you getting a win, but you're giving your division rivals a loss, which would just put you ahead even more. We got the Astros coming up. We got the Angels coming up. Then after the Angels, we go to the Athletics. So 3 division rivals in a row. 2 of them you get at home. And I mean, you're talking about the 3 worst teams in the division right now as well. So all 3 of these teams are not playing great right now. If you can get Julio playing like, MVP style Julio against these teams, you will get wins, and you will continue to separate yourself from the rest of this division. And again, hopefully that means things that actually are positive moves, instead of selling stuff off, that we're actually buying at the trade deadline and looking to get this team into the World Series. All right, let me know what you think, though. Is this Julio getting hot? Is it just a fluke? Like I said, when you look at all the stats and projections that Julio has this season, it looks like he should have, 10, 15 home runs by now. So, like I said, I don't know if it was just bad luck, or there's something that was just a little bit off, that he wasn't quite getting it. Maybe that's, maybe he's figured that whatever that little bit that was off, and is going to start heating up here, and we'll see another great hot run from Julio. That would be great to see right now, especially again the next 3 teams you're facing. But yeah, let me know in the comments, is this Julio getting hot? And if he does, how many wins do you think we can get in our next home series? Again, we got 3 against the Astro, or no, 4 against the Astros. You got 3 against the Angels and 3 against the Athletics. Well, like the Athletics are away game. So just in the next 10 games, I want to know in the comments, okay? How many wins are we going to get out of our next 10 games against these 3 division rivals? I think if you can come away with 7, you'd be feeling real happy. That'd be fantastic. And I think that is doable against the teams you're going against. All right. But again, give me your prediction. How hot is Julio going to get, and how many wins is that going to lead to in the next 10 games? And yeah, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, leave those comments. Podcast listeners do the same thing. Hit follow, hit subscribe, leave a 5-star rating and a written review on Apple Podcasts, because that helps the show grow. And thank you so much for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with a sea of sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.